Alright, so make sure you pause the video so that you can see how to do it, and then I'm going to also have the calculator on the screen so that you remember how to do these kind of things on your calculator. Make sure you're very careful, and since you have access to your calculator, you definitely should use it. Alright, so here's the first two problems. Pause it, do it, and then I'm going to do it for you. Alright, here you go. This one, remember, is -7 times 1 times 3/4. So it's a positive, negative times a positive, which means we hate to love, which is a bad thing. So that means your answer is going to be negative. And then to find out what it is, remember, you just multiply these two fractions. So on your calculator, you would do, make sure you had parentheses, and then you had -7 times, and then 3/4. And your answer should be, and then remember on your calculator you have the math to fraction, and you would have -21 over 4. Now we talked about together that meant that the whole number was going to be, we got to make it a decimal, so we're going to go actually back to decimal. Oops. And so you get -5.25, which means the whole number is -5. And then to find out what fraction 0.25 is, we're just going to do 0.25 to fraction, enter, and it's 1/4. -5 and 1/4 would be our answer. Next one, we're going to do the same thing. -7 divided by 3/4. So I'm going to do -7 divided by, in parentheses, 3/4. I didn't put a negative in there because, but ultimately you know your answer is going to be negative because it was a negative divided by a positive. So you got a negative, and then we could see that the whole number right here is going to be 9. And then to find out, well, 0.333 is 1/3, but just to check, we're going to go 0.333. I'm going to go math. Oops. And then we're going to go to fraction. Enter. 1/3. So your answer is not -9 and 1/3. Alright, next one. Go ahead and do it. Alright. To do this one, remember that we're going to, I could show you on your calculator. You're going to go ahead and put in 7 divided by 9 plus -3, I forgot the parentheses, -3 divided by 4. And remember, we're going to change that back to a fraction, and you get 1/36. And just in case you just want to check that doing it out, the common denominator is 36 because the multiples of 9 are 9, 18, 27, 36, and the multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, and 36. And the first one that they both have in common are the 36. Alright, go ahead and do this one. And the answer would be, I would do -4 divided by 9, end parentheses, minus 7 divided by 17. Oh, and I forgot, I'm going to go insert right here. Second insert to put in my parentheses. This would be 7 divided by 17. Enter, and you get, and then turn that back into a fraction. You get -131 over 153. Alright, next one. I have 24 balloons and 1/4 of them pop. How many do I have left? So when you ever see the word, where is it, of them, okay, of means multiply. So you're going to find out 24 times 1/4. And if 1/4 of them pop, how many do I have left? Well, you can do this one of two ways. If 1/4 of them pop, and you want to find out how much is 1/4 of them, this is how you would do it. 24 times 1/4, and you get 6. That means 6 popped, so how many would you have left? Well, 24 minus 6, you would have 18 left. Alright, go ahead and do these 3 problems. These are 6s. Alright, and here are your answers. Remember, when you have the same base and you're multiplying, you just add the exponents. So it would be 6 to the 9th. Then, right here, when you're dividing, you would just do 7 minus the 2, and you'd have 6 to the 5th. And when you have a power of a power, remember, you multiply these two. So it'd be 6 to the 21st. All right, go ahead and do this one. It's this monomial times this monomial. All right, so when you have that, remember, you multiply the numbers, and then you multiply the variables, but they have the same base. Remember, there's a 1 up here, and you just add the exponents. So that'd be x to the 3rd, and when you do 1 plus a -3, remember that's 1 plus a -3, you end up with -2, so that would be y to the -2nd. Now remember what we do when we have a negative exponent. Remember that there's we talked about there being a diving board. So that's 18 x to the 3rd over the y to the 2nd flips to the bottom. And also remember, if you had 3 to the -2nd, that would be 1 over 3 to the 2nd. Alright, go ahead and do this one. It's multiplying absolute value. Alright, so remember, when you multiply absolute value, you could just multiply the numbers in front. 6 2/10 times 2 3/10, and you get 14.26. And then you could also just multiply the powers of 10. But remember, when they have the same base, you could just add the exponents. So 4 plus a -2 is 2, so you get times 10 to the 2nd power. Now, if you wanted to put that into scientific notation, we have to move the decimal between the 1 and the 4. And because we just made it a smaller number, we'd have to add 1 to the 10 to the 2nd and make it 10 to the 3rd. All right, but this would be your final answer if you actually just multiply this out. 14.26 times 10 to the 2nd power. And that would be your answer, 1,426. Alright, so remember, scientific notation is you're going to move the decimal to make it between 1 and 10. And because it's a big number, it's going to be a positive exponent. And also remember, just like with multiplying, when you're dividing scientific notation, you could divide the whole numbers and then subtract the exponents.